Even though crossovers are the main focus for many automotive manufacturers today, sedans still make up a huge percentage of the market, and Chevrolet's Cruze, that was redesigned just last year, is a compact car you may want to consider over the everyday ho-hum crossover. But with many other compact cars having many of the same attributes as the Cruze, is there anything that stands out about it? Well, let's go ahead and find out and check out this 2017 Chevrolet Cruze. Now the Cruze here follows the trend in the automotive market of having a stylish exterior design, and you'll find this on many other compact cars, especially the Honda Civic, Mazda 3, and the Hyundai Elantra. But I really do like the styling of the Cruze here, and Chevrolet certainly didn't overdo it. You have some slick looking LED daytime running lights, and then also you have a slightly sloping roofline in the back. And I really think it's tastefully done here. Now here goes the key fob design for the vehicle. You have a switchblade key, and you have your unlock, your lock, choose your trunk, and your panic button. Not bad looking at all. And then also, not much has changed for the 2017 Chevrolet Cruze since the vehicle got a full redesign just last year, but you will find a new hatchback model so that Chevrolet could compete with Mazda 3's hatchback, and most important of all, the Ford Focus's hatchback. And then also, our trim of the Cruze we have here is the LT trim. You have the kinetic blue metallic exterior color, and Chevrolet is putting this color on a lot of their vehicles, like the Volt. It's not a bad looking color. And you also do have a full-on black cloth interior, and you have manual driver's seat adjustments. Now stepping on inside of the Cruze here, as you can see, the Cruze features a pretty modern and a pretty premium looking interior design, and I really do love the cloth on the dashboard. I think that's pretty unique there. A lot of vehicles don't do that. Now push button ignition is optional, but our LT doesn't have it here.
Video from a film and the song.
And what you're hearing there is a 1.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder. Coming to your transmission, you'll find a 6-speed automatic transmission with lower gear selection.
This vehicle is in demonstration mode, connected by OnStar's high.
When you put the vehicle into reverse, this will display your rear view camera with guidance lines, and you also do have trajectory, which is nice. You can also turn the guidance lines off or on if you would like. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the headlights and the hazards. Heated exterior mirrors. Now, when the Cruze was first introduced in the 2011 model year, it was a really great replacement from the old Chevrolet Cobalt. That was a pretty mediocre vehicle when compared to many of its competitors from Honda and Toyota and then Ford. But the new Cruze here is even better than the last generation Cruze when it comes to its quality and design. Coming up front, you have halogen projector beam headlights with LED daytime running lights. Now powering the Cruze here is your only engine choice available. It's a 1.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder that produces 153 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 177 pound-feet of torque at 2,000 RPM, with EPA estimates being a pretty decent 30 in the city and 40 on the highway. The problem with this powertrain is, though, is that the real-world fuel economy numbers don't come out to the EPA estimates numbers. And then also the 1.4 liter 4-cylinder turbo does provide pretty disappointing acceleration. And there is no engine choice available for the Cruze. This is your only choice that you can get. But you can get a 6-speed manual transmission or the 6-speed automatic like how we have here. Now pricing of the Cruze starts at the base L trim. That starts at $16,975. That trim level is more reserved for rental fleets. And then the trim up above is the LS. That starts at $18,525. And it doesn't even come with cruise control, which is pretty surprising. And then the mid-trim level LT starts at $20,150. And then the top of the line Premier, $23,475. And then for the hatchback, the base model for that is the LT, which starts at $21,240. And then the top of the line Premier for the hatchback is $23,945. But Chevrolet has definitely broadened the appeal of the Cruze by introducing a new hatchback model. Now, competitors of the Cruze, you're looking at vehicles in the compact car class. This includes the likes of the Ford Focus, Mazda 3, Dodge Dart, Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, Subaru Impreza. There's many vehicles in this class. Competitors of the Cruze, you're looking at the vehicles in the compact car class. This includes the likes of the Honda Civic, Ford Focus, Toyota Corolla, Mazda 3, Dodge Dart, Subaru Impreza, and the Volkswagen Jetta. Total vehicle price for our particular Cruze is $22,720. Here goes the parts content information. Final assembly point is actually in Mexico, not in the United States here. And then major sources of foreign parts: Mexico 32%, US, Canadian 44%. And then EPA estimates, like I said, 30 in the city, 40 on the highway. Government 5-star safety ratings, hasn't been rated yet. Coming up here, you also do have a shark fin antenna and an LED third brake light. Of course, you have all of your basic power necessities: power windows, door locks, and your power mirrors, chrome interior door handles. Now, while the Cruze does have a pretty stylish and modern looking interior, the materials and build quality are just average for the class here. Now, at least you do have a soft touch mid-door panel and armrest here that's wrapped in cloth, but up here on the upper door panel, hard touch plastic, and all on top of the dashboard. Some of it does feel kind of cheap, and build quality is okay, but it certainly isn't class leading inside of here. But the interior of the Cruze is pretty modern overall. Now, coming to the steering wheel design, love the steering wheel design here. Over here we have your cruise control buttons, and then your voice recognition, as well as your steering wheel mounted I/O controls, which are located on the back of the steering wheel. And then these controls control your little information center, which I'll get to in just a minute. You also do have dual cup holders, and you have a little storage cubby down there with a USB port, auxiliary input, and a 12-volt power outlet. Then you have a little storage cubby right here too, traction control off button. Then your center console. Okay amount of center console storage, is pretty deep but not very wide. Now, the seats in the Cruze are pretty comfortable and great for long road trips. They're very soft and plush, which I love about them. And then thigh support is also pretty good too. Overall, I really can't complain about the seats in the Cruze. I certainly would take an extended road trip inside of this vehicle. And what I also love about the interior of the Cruze is that there's just plenty of room inside of here. In some compact cars like the Ford Focus and Mazda 3 feel a little claustrophobic, but many compact cars nowadays are growing up in size. And there's also the Honda Civic and the Toyota Corolla, which also feature pretty roomy interiors. As far as visibility goes, visibility is pretty good out of the Cruze when it comes to the front. Seeing how the windshield is also pretty easy, and there's a decent amount of glass area on the front side windows. But when you get to rearward visibility, the rear window base is pretty high, and you do sacrifice a little bit when it comes to its styling for the exterior design of the Cruze, and you have that sloping roof line. But overall, it's not too bad, but they need to lower their rear window base. Then you also do have your AC controls. Pretty simple and logical layout. Fan speeds, different zones, and then your temperatures. The buttons are a little small, however, but you do have your recycling too. Now, coming to the gauges and the instrument cluster here, it's a fairly traditional looking setup. You have your tachometer on the left and your speedometer on the right. You also do have your coolant temperature up there, as well as your fuel gauge. And in the center, you have your driver information display. It's all controlled by the buttons on the steering wheel here. And it shows you basic vehicle information, such as your trip and your average fuel economy, fuel range, instantaneous fuel economy, average vehicle speed, timer, and your navigation, turn-by-turn directions, and then your vehicle, shows you vehicle information such as your oil life percentage, tire pressure, battery voltage, units from US to metric. You could change that, and then you could turn the speed warning on or off. Then over here you have your fuel economy, shows you economy trends, gives you a bar graph, shows you your top consumers, and then it shows you your fuel economy right there. Overall, pretty good looking, but I wish they would put some color on the driver information display here. You also do have an auto engine start stop feature, so when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, the engine will actually shut off to save a little bit of fuel. That's one reason why the Cruze earns decent fuel efficiency numbers here. Now coming to the main head unit in the infotainment system, this is the Chevrolet MyLink system, and I love their newer generation system here for the MyLink. I don't like the system that they have on the Chevrolet Equinox. It's pretty dated, but this is pretty good, and it's fairly responsive, and the graphics and the rendering are nice too. Coming to your audio, you have all of your normal sources here: AM, FM, Sirius, XM satellite radio, your iPod, Bluetooth streaming audio, and your auxiliary input. Nothing too out of the norm. And then you have your gallery, you can access photos, and then you have your phone, and then you can hook up your Bluetooth phone onto the system and have an integrated dial pad and hook up multiple Bluetooth devices. You have your settings like the time and date, and then you also do have the Teen Driver, which comes standard. And then you have your OnStar too. And then down here it shows your exterior temperature readout as well as the time and the date, which is nice. And then you also do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And I actually have my iPhone hooked up onto the system through this cord right here. It's connected to the MyLink. But let's go to Apple CarPlay. And basically it integrates your iPhone onto the system. And most Cruzes will come with the Apple CarPlay, which is nice. And you have your music. And you can view all your songs. It's basically like an iPod, which is nice. Then you have your home screen right here, and then you also do have navigation with your maps. Pretty cool. It also shows you live traffic on here, of course, and it shows your direction of travel. Then you have your now playing for your music and your text messages.
To whom should I send you?
And then you also do have Siri too, which is nice. And then you have iHeartRadio, and then TuneIn Radio and Spotify, so you can access those apps. Overall, love the Apple CarPlay, and I certainly do recommend it. Now, as far as the way the Cruze drives, the Cruze is more of a relaxed type of compact car. What I mean by that is that it provides a smooth and a comfortable ride quality, and it's a vehicle that's pretty easy to live with on a daily basis. Provides one of the smoothest rides in the compact car class, and it's pretty quiet, especially at highway speeds, and soaks up road bumps fairly well, especially for a compact car. Now the 1.4 liter 4-cylinder turbo provides pretty disappointing acceleration, and this vehicle really isn't all engaging to drive, not like how the Honda Civic or the Mazda 3 or even the Ford Focus is. But the 6-speed automatic transmission does shift pretty well inside of the Cruze here, and it never hesitates to shift. It's pretty seamless. But overall, I think the Cruze is more about being a typical compact car that's pretty easy to live with. This car you'll certainly not want to throw around corners or anything like that. This vehicle just really isn't all that engaging to drive, and the steering and the handling can feel pretty numb at times. The Cruze is more like a Toyota Corolla, I have to say. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and shut down the Cruze. Let's go and check out the rest of the vehicle. Let's go and check out the rear seat passenger space as well as the trunk space. Trunk space in the Cruze is decent, and these seats do fold down, 60-40 split. Overall, not too shabby. You also do have your spare tire down there. Now, when Chevrolet redesigned the Cruze just last year, it featured a roomier interior than the previous generation Cruze, and there's just a lot more legroom than the previous generation. And it's pretty good back here. It's pretty competitive compared to the rest of the compact car class when it comes to room for the rear seat occupants. And then there's plenty of headroom too. You also do have rear adjustable headrest back here and a rear center armrest with cup holders and a USB charging port, which is nice. And then you have a single map pocket, or actually dual map pocket, sorry about that. Not too bad. All right. Materials and build quality follow through in the rear here. Now, when Chevrolet introduced this generation Cruze just last year, it featured a roomier interior than the last generation. And I have plenty of legroom back here, and there's plenty of headroom as well, despite the sloping roofline. You also do have dual map pockets, as well as a USB charging port and rear adjustable headrests, as well as a rear center armrest with cup holders. And the seats back here are also pretty plush, pretty comfortable too. You have your map lights up there. All right. So with this comfortable, easy to live with nature, its loads of technology offered, and its stylish exterior design, the 2017 Chevrolet Cruze is a solid choice for a compact car. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.